Welcome to the Push Podcast number 3.
Episode 3, I'm Steve Machine Curran, and this is Big Daddy Kev Orwood. Welcome back, Kev.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Good to be back, actually.
Olympia weekend, baby.
It is the Olympia. It's on right now.
You excited?
I'm not actually that excited. I haven't really been into the Olympia since
1935.
I was actually a fan of it in the 90s. You know, my favourite.
Yeah, probably the best era, would you say?
I believe so,
Yates,
yeah.
Sean Ray, Paul Dillard, Kevin Levrone.
Even going back to like Lee Labrada and some of those little fellas, you know.
Early 90s, late 80s.
They were some fantastic
amazing
physiques.
And amazing condition as well.
And they had narrow waist. I think that is one of the main criticisms of the top guys today, is that they have those distended bellies, big bulging stomachs,
Distorted stomachs.
which isn't that pretty.
No, sexy on women maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. So picks for the. Do you think it's going to be Phil Heath's number 8? The gift.
I'm not a fan of Phil Heath, to be honest with you. I've never liked his body.
What particular? Why is that?
It's not aesthetically pleasing to my eye like someone like Sean Ray was.
Because you were in your time quite aesthetic. Before actually even aesthetics was a thing.
Before, that's right. Like if I was competing, if I was starting to compete, if it was now, I'd probably, to be honest with you, go in
the girls division.
the men's
bikini,
the Borat mankini division.
So unlike myself, that I wanted to be as big and scary and as much like a science experiment as possible. When I went to the beach, I didn't want people to say, "Oh, he's got a nice physique." I wanted them to say, "Oh, that's just too much." And I achieved that, I think, to some degree.
Right.
At the time.
Yeah.
Not for you, though.
Well, initially, see, I was more motivated by the
ladies.
The manpower type body.
Yeah.
The abs and the pecs. That was kind of it. I mean, I trained my whole body because I never wanted to look like a light bulb.
No, not at all.
But and I was very aware of the importance of training legs.
Yeah, I got that as well. I think from my soccer background.
Proportion. I had Joe Weider's workout book way back in the late 80s, and it was all about proportion. You know, the chest had to be in proportion to the waist.
Yes.
The thighs had to be in proportion to the chest.
Yes.
It was like that. Biceps were the
same
size as calves.
Neck. Yes.
That's right. Neck, biceps, and calves were all the same measurement.
And penis.
Oh shit! Was it? Oh, I'm out there.
That's why I just decided to become a science experiment.
So anyway, back to the Olympia.
But just with your see Phil Heath. I think, just saying on Phil Heath for a moment, I think he's got an amazing physique and he's a very good looking man. And,
what are you talking about?
Nice eyes.
What are you talking
but
about?
But I don't like the way he trains.
He's got a big fat head.
You know that partial movements like Jay Cutler does, that sort of chasing the pump sort of training. I really don't like that. I like Dorian Yates. For me, he used to just grind it out, full range of movement, really focused, just train till the death. And I think that's why he had that sort of grainy conditioned muscle, as opposed to the current crop like Phil Heath. It looks like a very sort of insulin pump sort of physique.
Sorry to interrupt there.
That's right.
I actually think out of this list we have here of the heavyweights, I think someone like Dexter Jackson has a physique that I like.
Can I pose a scenario for you? How much more would you hate Phil Heath if Phil Heath's prep coach was Kanye West?
Look, we wouldn't even be talking about it now.
You know, he wouldn't have made it this far.
No.
Number 8.
No.
He might have married a TV star though.
Yeah,
that's just ridiculous, Stephen.
So anything more you have to say about
All right, so Olympia, I love William Bonac. I think he's a little freak, and has that granite-like.
Oh, isn't he
the black guy?
Isn't he moved up from the?
No, he's always been he never wanted. He's never done 212.
Oh, who was the guy that was going to do?
Flex Lewis might do it next year. He's going to be defending his I think 6 or 7 Olympics.
Yeah, right.
But apart from that, there's always Mobda. I can never pronounce it. Big Ramy.
Oh, Big Ramy.
Who, I don't know. He obviously talking about science experiments. The guy's a freak of nature.
Winkler's not far behind him in terms of freakness.
And Rowley to me is like Dennis James back in the day. Remember Dennis James used to post those photos from Phuket. 6 weeks out from the Olympia, and he would look like a mutant, like so big. And just it's happened once recently this year, but he I just can't see anyone beating Phil Heath. But it's worth
What
seeing.
do you mean? Oh, sorry. So Rowley would lose it in the last week.
Yeah, or come in soft or bloated. But he's nailed it. He nailed it once this year.
Okay, so if so, you think Phil's going to win again?
I think he's going to win again.
If he doesn't, who would be the main contender there? Do you think?
Roden, maybe.
Sean Roden.
There's also the English guy. What's his name? Nathan Dowsher. He's pretty good. Brandon Curry as well. Brandon Curry's just, again, we were talking earlier before about the camel crew, the guys in Dubai, and just literally just doubling in size nearly. But what I'm really interested in is the 212 guys. As I said, Flex Lewis, is trying to retain his last 212 crown, and there's some freaks in there. I really like, where is he? Nicolas Valou. He's from Switzerland. I think he's even shorter than me. He's
white?
White guy, and he's freaky legs. But anyway, on a step down from Olympia standard dieting, how's your diet going, mate? Summer Shred, City Gym Summer Shred.
So the first week of the Summer Shred, I aced it. I was hitting every meal, no deviations whatsoever, and I actually dropped 2.5 kilos. 2.5 kilos that first week, which kind of scared me. Which is how I justified in my mind that I would allow a couple of cheat days.
Yeah. Well, you need it after a week. You might have been a bit depleted. You could have actually been losing muscle.
Could have been. So I had to quickly increase my dirty load.
The dirty ball.
Dirty
load. Sounds like a gay porn movie.
Not my dirty carb load. And I had a shit week actually. I probably put on all of that weight back on.
And this is only coming out now because you didn't hear this.
No.
In fact, I messaged Kev because I was in the hole. I was about to go and blow it because I was feeling sorry for myself. And you talked me down. I appreciate that.
You messaged me and said you're feeling skinny and fat.
Which I am.
So I talked you out of eating any rubbish, and then I went and proceeded to eat rubbish myself.
Yeah, I guess through osmosis, you cheated.
Poor discipline, poor self-discipline.
Okay, so you finished and you helped me out. So you're obviously feeling solid then. Or were you actually munching on chocolate as you're texting? And don't play your diet.
I wasn't actually quite doing that, but it was pretty close. And I don't really want to talk about it.
All right. Well, I'll talk about my cheat last night.
Last night? Man,
this last week, I've been really struggling with the body dysmorphia more so than usual, and it took me three long conversations with three friends to bolster my spirits enough. I was just in a really bad way, and I can't differentiate between how much of it is body dysmorphia and how much it is legitimate symptoms of low testosterone. You know, I've got insomnia. I'm feeling frail and weak. And so anyway, the net result was I've got the end of a busy working week, flat out work, got home, driving home and thought, you know what, I deserve a cheat. I just deserve 2 double cheeseburgers with no pickles, 2 chicken and cheeseburgers, and a large chocolate sundae.
Well, you probably did deserve it, Steve.
I did, and I felt like crap afterwards.
Yeah, but you got to get past that. You got to go, all right, that's done, and now let's take the next step.
I like to think of it as a refeed.
Well, I think declining testosterone levels is not something that just you've experienced. It's as we all get into our 40s and 50s, test levels drop naturally, whether you've been artificially boosting them or not.
That's right.
They're going to drop.
That's right.
And I think that's one of the that's something that obviously
happens to us all.
Yeah, happens to us all.
Yeah.
And what I'd like to steer this discussion towards training and
for
health for old bald dudes like ourselves.
Well, you don't even have to be bald, but you have to be. It would, it's the whole hashtag dad bod thing is a thing, and there's a lot of guys that either do no training, completely sedentary, or if they are, they're completely lost about what they're doing. And so let's have a discussion about what we think people should do, what some of the pitfalls, and how they should start.
Well, look, It's never too late to get into weight training.
No,
it's never too
no,
late. Even though each decade that goes past, it's a little bit more difficult to make progress like you can if you start in your 20s, say. However, it's never too late. I've trained people who are in their 70s and 80s, and they don't deteriorate. Whether they gain a little bit of muscle and they gain a little bit of fitness, they drop a little bit of body fat, and they feel a hell of a lot better.
Yeah,
they get better results on their physicals that they might have to do through their work, for example. So look, it's never too late to start. You can start in your 50s and start in your 60s even. And
make demonstrable results.
Absolutely. Look, obesity is a chronic problem in this country. Two-thirds of us, 2/3 of Australians are obese, or overweight or obese. It's really disgraceful. So, if you're in your 40s and 50s, particularly for men, but also for women, and you're a beginner, you want to get into some exercise, weight training is one of the best things you can do.
I think it can't be overstated enough, because look, I used to when I've done cardio in the past, occasionally I've done walks through Botanic Gardens on the way to the Boy Charlton Pool. It's really nice scenery, it's relaxing, and the amount of men our age that you see just thrashing themselves, going for these runs, running
in the Botanical Gardens, behind trees, mainly behind trees, with overcoats on.
Running,
cardio,
running themselves into the ground, and usually quite often skinny fat, no muscularity at all, and just jiggly, and they're really suffering. And it probably they probably get an hour for lunch, and they're taking an hour break, and just running themselves, coming back, and being exhausted.
And that's what they think their best option is
to get in shape.
Exercise. Yes, right. But they are mistaken, are they not, Steve?
I would say they could spend that time, if they went to the gym for half an hour and learn how to lift some weights properly on some basic key exercises.
Yes. Get
proficient at them, and then over time get stronger at them. That would be infinitely more
beneficial to them, especially in the long run. That's right.
Absolutely.
Because as we age, not only do our muscles atrophy, but our bone density reduces.
Yep.
And weight training can help all of that. It also can keep things like heart disease and diabetes at bay. So
yeah, and I think, don't get me wrong, I'm all for doing cardio, but I think that there's this idea that to get fit you have to run, and I would prefer to see someone doing some short interval sprints or stair sprints or sand sprints where you really get your heart up.
Yes.
I think what running does is just get you more proficient at running. It doesn't really, if you want, because I think the Australian tall poppy syndrome plays a part in it. People, I don't know how, but middle-aged guys often will come to you and say, I just want to get a bit fitter. Because that, there's a bit of humility there. What they really want is, I want to have, if they were honest with themselves, their biggest dream would be, I want to have a hot body again.
Right.
I want to look great for the beach.
At the beach, that's right.
I want to look good when I take my shirt off. But they want
for the beach or the bedroom.
For the beach or the bedroom, or both.
Oh, absolutely.
Concurrently.
Yeah, but at the
make
beach,
your beach,
then back to the bedroom.
No, make your beach the bedroom. Get it sandy and a bit gritty, but
Right. So for a beginner, half hour of weight training with a trainer who can teach them some basic fundamental movements. Like essential exercise. Like for a beginner, Steve, what would you say are the essential exercises they should learn and be taught how to do?
I really believe, and this is how I train my clients, is the three big lifts of squat, bench, and deadlift. Each gym is full of pieces of equipment that people tend to use all of, and you just get a lot more return on investment if you can get really proficient in those three exercises, get really strong. You get so much more calorie expenditure, more muscle mass, and just stronger overall. And people talk about functional training. It's pretty functional beyond squatting down with a heavy weight on your shoulders. I mean, that's squatting. Is what people did around campfires, is what people do in the desert. And it's a fairly basic functional movement.
That's right.
Rather than doing a Turkish get-up. What I find, what irks me a bit in the industry is that you've got trainers doing these complicated movements, which may have some legitimacy, and yet the client can't do a basic squat or a correct bench press or a deadlift, and yet they're focused on doing like a one-legged lunge while twisting a dumbbell and, I don't know, both balancing on a Bosu ball.
Yes, that's right. Or a kip up or something ridiculous like that.
Which is great if you want to join the circus. But most 50-year-olds, that's probably not what their main agenda is.
No, that's right.
What's your take on that?
So,
Would you agree?
I agree. I think that it is very beneficial to have a couple of sessions with a trainer who knows what they're doing, someone with experience who can teach those basic movements, the basic exercises. And after bench, squat, deadlift, there's other things that I think are close, come in behind there. But back to the basics again, things like barbell rowing, dips, chin-ups, exercises like this, which are basic exercises that have been done for 70 years and gotten great results back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It's not only a recent phenomenon, really, that all these fancy gadgets, machines, that isolate one prime mover and take all the other supporting muscles out of it.
And I get that that's necessary for bodybuilders. If you're going to step on stage, you need to have your rear delts really capped. And, but for the average person, the average guy that's got a sedentary role and wants to look good at the beach, wants to be strong, muscular and complete, if you're doing a deadlift and you build that posterior chain from your neck, back, glutes, hamstrings, because most people forget that they actually have a back at all, and just focus on their chest and arms. If you build that muscle, you're not only going to look more aesthetically pleasing, but you're going to, the whole bad back thing. It's just
posture, everything.
Yeah, so many people in the middle-aged guys complain of bad back, and yet none of them deadlift.
Right, so possibly for beginners, it's even more important to be doing these basic these exercises of squat, deadlift, and bench.
Yeah, and I get why trainers don't prescribe them often, because they're not proficient in actually coaching them how to do it, and B, it takes a long time.
Yes, that's right. It takes a long time for the client to perfect it.
Yeah,
yes.
and so clients sometimes aren't patient either, so they'll go into a gym and want to be smashed straight away, and leave the gym exhausted. And if you're trying to perfect sort of
scapular adduction,
and that's something that isn't going to make you tired, but is necessary to perform movements,
to execute the exercise correctly. That's right.
And that's not always fun.
No.
So it is hard to find the balance as a trainer. It's hard to find the balance between getting correct technique, and also getting them to actually have a good workout. But to answer the question, I think 3 days a week, those three movements. Initially, like when they first walk in the gym, I would actually get them to just those three movements 3 times, just to embed the correct movement patterns.
And start adding in a few extra ones.
Yes, I mean,
getting a bit of...
men are going to have to do the curls for the girls, and some triceps and some shoulders. But it's hard when you're surrounded by other trainers and other people just throwing them on random isolation machines, and I get why that's popular, but I just think the people that have adhered to that I've prescribed to them, they get results.
Okay, all right. What about dietary advice?
Would you want to talk about older people like us?
All right, so we've covered beginners.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an advanced trainer.
Yeah, so let's say you've been doing that for years. You've been training heavy. You've built appreciable mass, and now
10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you've
like us. We've both been training for almost 30 years. I've found now that I'm in my mid-40s that it's not so much about trying to lift as much weight as possible. There's more of a new focus about training. Well, I've probably been like this for about 10 years, really, that I'm more safety orientated. More about technique and squeezing the muscle, and training safe, training smart, and getting longevity, as in being able to do this for another 20 years or more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still, my take on it is I still try to train as heavy as possible and as hard as possible, but I implement things in between the set, I implement things in the program which will, I guess, ensure the safety of the movement. So, for instance, like with squats now, what I'll do is I'll do hamstrings first, which I find they warm up my knees without stressing my knee. And then when I squat, I'll do like perhaps leg extensions first before I squat, even maybe supersetting leg extensions with squats, which will limit the amount of weight I can use in the squat.
Right, like a more of a pre-exhaustion,
Yeah.
so that you don't come in fresh squats
No,
and go overboard.
I did it in February. I got back into my mate Nick Hockey. Shout out to Nick. What's his Instagram? Hockey Strength or something. Anyway, whatever. He's lifted. I saw him lift 310 kilo deadlift the other day at City Gym, like nothing for a double. I think he did 320 the week after. Anyway, I was doing some workouts with him, and because I wanted to get my personal best up. The goal was to get it back up to 260, which I was squatting 18 years ago. So complete, old man ego driven. And I was getting up. I was doing 220 reasonably well in depth for a single. And 1 week I was warming up, and I was again just warming up, but not doing what I normally do, which is do a heap of other stuff first, heap of other exercises to warm up first. And got to 140 on the squat, which is not that heavy, and dropped into the hole. And when you pop bubble wrap, and
you heard that sound?
I actually heard and felt the bubble wrap pop, and it was my adductor, and it I forgot which one, but it popped, and I had a second degree tear to it, which it's taken nearly over 3 months to repair. So lesson learned again.
Don't. Yeah.
Safety first.
Safety. But yeah, we want to. Yeah, you would have been better off having a month of training with 100 kilos.
Or doing what I do now.
Than blowing it out and
3 months off.
Fucking you for so long. Yeah. You've got to train smart. I agree with you. You still want to keep the intensity high during the workout. Like train properly, train hard, keep the intensity high. So shorten rest periods perhaps.
Yeah. And like I said, you can do other factors like the superset perhaps, but I think intensity. I think if there was a pyramid of importance, I think technique comes first. Would you agree? Because you have to train with good technique.
Yes.
To actually get any results. Technique, time under tension, as we see a lot of people in the gym. Squats being a prime example of
quarter reps, half reps.
Quarter reps.
Yeah.
And just lifting with your ego rather than with the muscle.
Yeah. Those people would be better off halving the weight.
Or
doing full range.
Or doing 1/3 of the weight, perhaps.
A third, yeah.
So technique, I think, is first. Then I would say poundage and then intensity. Most people don't train hard. Would you agree?
Yes.
And then we've got food, the importance of actually... Again, I really don't think most guys our age who don't have a health and fitness background... I think they massively underestimate the importance of food and having a strict diet to get in shape. Most guys our age, especially if they've got like a sports background, like a footy background or something, think they can do what they did in their 20s and out-train their bad diet. Again, they're the guys in the park running because they drank all night the night before and they think they can run off the alcohol and the seafood linguine they had.
Yeah, I think that the diet part of it is 70 to 80%.
Yeah, pity we keep fucking it up.
That's right.
But
I think that I can out-train it. That's all.
No, you don't.
No.
I never thought that, and I don't know why, but I always understood that no, actually that's not true. Like for the first 2 years of my training, I was just eating whatever I wanted, and then I tried to diet to get in shape, and again didn't track my fat calories at all. Just thought I could clean it up. Like if I didn't eat macas and I didn't drink, then because that's what most people think. I think they think if they don't have takeaway, they don't drink, and they cut their carbs, they're going to get in shape.
If you really want to get in shape, you've got to be a bit more precise than that, don't you?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, you really need to start thinking about weighing your food and calculating the amount of protein you're getting per meal and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that people should be going as far as trying to eat organic. Do you eat organic?
No. Is McDonald's organic?
I think it is. It's organic and vegan.
I think the pickles probably are, but they're I don't have pickles. They're vegan though.
Yeah, especially all their burgers.
Please comment on how white my teeth are looking today.
Oh,
I'm nearly at the point where I'm getting white enough to have my implants put in.
yeah, right. They do look pretty good, man.
Thank you. Although I've still got gaps from gum recession, so I'm going to get... The goal eventually is to get veneers.
Really?
So a big Hollywood smile.
Yeah, right. That'll be great.
Ridiculous.
It will be. Okay, so don't worry about organic.
Look, if you want to spend extra money, do so. I think what's your stance on grain-fed and grass-fed and ethically raised?
I prefer the taste
Yeah.
of grass-fed cows and butter. I eat butter. Do you eat butter?
If I'm going to have a spread of some kind, I'll eat butter over margarine or anything like that. And I definitely give butter to Bianca.
Right. Yeah. I believe that. Well, obviously we've been all wrong about fats, obviously, because they took all the fat out of all our food, and people are still getting obese.
Sorry, you go.
I have brought up over the last 6 or 7 years. I've brought fat back into my diet, whereas before
clearly. Was that intentional? You're saying that's intentional?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I brought
for my testosterone benefits.
I brought a lot of fat in and a lot of sugar. But in all seriousness, when I did that stress test at the evil nurse technician lady, they're still using the same line they were 20, 30 years ago, saying
cholesterol.
all fats are bad. They all lead to cholesterol, and that it's just nonsense.
It is nonsense.
And I raised with her, well, perhaps I'm thinking, and a lot of research is showing sugar is the evil over fats, and component of the different types of fats in your diet is actually a good idea.
And what did she say about that?
Oh no, you've got to keep your fats out. I guess you do have to keep sugar down, but fats are what give you cholesterol. That was before she asked me if how much prison time I'd done.
See, they've got it all wrong with cholesterol too.
Well, this is the interesting thing that
they shouldn't be focused on cholesterol.
No, it's not always a marker of heart failure or heart problems. Heart attack is.
Okay.
So have we beaten this to death? Do we need to know anything more about for the 40s or 50-year-olds?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so basic training, the nutrition supplements. Should they be taking any supplements, Steve? Do you think there is any benefit to any supplements? And if you were going to recommend supplements, what would be your essentials?
Oh, there's probably a heap, but people would rather spend a lot of money on supplement than rather invest in the time and money it would take to either get their meals prepped or make the food themselves.
Yeah, look, if your diet is spot on, you're eating plenty of vegetables every day, you're eating good cuts of meat, you're drinking plenty of water, your food is balanced, and you're not eating shit, then you can get all the nutrients you need from food alone. You can. It is possible to do that. However, if your diet isn't like top shelf, then there can be benefit to taking supplements.
Sure.
Correct? So would you recommend that these guys in their 40s and 50s have a multivitamin, have protein powder, creatine?
Yeah, I think. Look, I've always used some whey protein and some sort of carbs, simple carbs after I train. It's not essential, but these people, a lot of people are time poor, and they're not going to eat. They're not going to, in the hour they have for lunch, assuming they're training at lunch or before work or after work, they're not going to straight away have a meal where they could have a shake straight away. So I would say a protein, it doesn't have to be whey protein, it can be whale blubber broth or whatever the latest organic fucking liver detox broth. Bone broth.
That stuff.
It's probably nice, probably great for you.
Isn't that just soup?
Yeah, but if you get it from
bones?
If you get it from a whale's penis, it's more liver cleansing. But in all seriousness, creatine I think is legit. Creatine.
Creatine.
Oh, how?
Creatine.
Creatine. Creatine.
Do you use creatine?
If I was like if I wanted to, yeah.
I use creatine. I like to use creatine.
Yeah.
I take some before I train.
As I haven't spent much time as a natural bodybuilder, I haven't used a lot of supplements. I probably should. I mean, things like zinc.
Yeah, well, there's obviously
citrulline malate.
certain minerals like zinc
Yeah.
that you can take as a natural testosterone, not a booster, but to enhance your insides, so that you've got the right bits and pieces there when the muscle needs it, right?
But I mean, again, I can't under or over. I was going to say stimulate. Then that's
Stress.
yeah. I can't over emphasize enough. Not to get caught up in supplement. I see it all the time. People, because that's an easy thing. You can buy it and you can then have it in your cupboard and use that. But then go and eat, pasta every night. If you spend time educate yourself about food before you educate yourself about supplements.
Yeah,
Look at how many calories there are in the meal you just made. Get a food scale. And look, I'm obsessive compulsive about it, so I weigh my meals. But it doesn't hurt to at least do that for a week to see where you are, rather than just eyeballing it. The more you invest, more than anything, invest in your food and the stuff. It's amazing. You're putting all this stuff in your body, and you want to get in shape. You spend money on a trainer. You spend hours in the gym. And yet, how many people are in shape in the gym? And most of them have a degree of muscle.
Yeah, what they really need to do is get to the supermarket and do a clean purchase of some steak, some chicken, some turkey, some eggs, some brown rice, some sweet potato and white potato, and a bunch of vegetables.
Or
varied vegetables.
Contact your company.
Oh yes, well I could have worn the shirt today, but you could contact Fit Fresh Food.
You could say fit or fet, whichever whichever.
Fit
Fresh
Food,
and get your food and your prep designed by an expert. Get it delivered to you. I have to look. To be honest, there's times when I've had clients and they've been training with me, X number of days a week, 5 days a week, and they'd be better off spending one payment
on getting some proper food,
or spending that time.
Yeah, even if you do that, and so you can get some food companies like Fit Fresh Food will tailor the meals to suit whatever your goal is based on your weight and your goal, your age. Tailor the amount of protein and the carbs, the fats, and the vegetables.
Yes.
To help you get to your result quicker than if you were just trying to guess.
Or get to it at all, because most people. Again, the people that I see it all the time. The people that invest in the food and educate themselves are usually the ones that get the results. Would you agree?
Yeah, food is very, very important in the equation. Very important. You're right. You're better off getting your food right and not spending any money on supplements. Once you get your food right, then maybe add in a protein shake after you train.
Sure. Some
creatine before you train.
Napolon.
Oh yes.
Only for the week.
So yeah, there are there are other supplements that we haven't talked about. The ones that you get on a script.
Well, if you are over 40, legitimately, and you get two blood tests consecutively that show you've got below normal levels of testosterone, you can get a prescription for
hormone replacement
therapy, which is steroid.
It's a small dose of testosterone, right?
Yeah.
That the doctor will give you. Was it weekly?
It's usually 1 ml. It's usually either a product called Sustanon or another product called Premotestin, and you'll get 1 ml, which is 250 milligrams of testosterone, and they will usually prescribe it for 1 injection every 10 days.
Right.
And you can either take that home with you, or you can get your doctor to inject you in the bottom. Or, it doesn't have to be in the bottom, it could be in the shoulder or something.
Right. And is it expensive?
No,
Script?
it's about $34 on script.
Ah.
I think. Oh, that might be... Yeah, I think that's right.
Well, there you go. Hormone replacement therapy. If you're in your 40s, you should seriously consider
And why not? Because it's obviously women receive similar... Obviously not testosterone, but they receive similar help for their circumstance when they're going through menopause.
Yes, that's right. So It just will lift your natural test levels back up
back to normal levels.
what it was when you were a younger man.
And then, of course, there is the natural test boosters that you can get from places like ASN, which seem to work quite well.
All right, like herbal, like Tribulus terrestris.
Well, Tribulus has been proven to be not particularly effective, but there's a new one by, I think it's ATP Science.
What's the ingredient?
Our friend with the pageboy haircut and the Firebird,
Pageboy,
boarding, like sort of 16th century pageboy.
He won't watch this.
We didn't watch the last one either. Anyway,
said he did, but he didn't.
So he swears by it. He's telling anybody that would listen about how sexually active he is now that he's taking the supplements, and everybody's of course.
So he's on HRT.
No, he's on this supplement from ASN,
Oh, right.
which has increased his libido, which of course has women running for miles.
Running away, not running to him.
No,
we don't the Pied Piper.
We don't. He is the Pied Piper of Darlinghurst.
Right.
So do's and don'ts as far as training, and we talked about food and the need for a focus on clean but calorie control. This is again the thing. People say, "Oh, I'm eating clean, but I'm not losing weight." I had a client like that. He said, "I'm eating chicken and rice," but he was eating so much chicken and rice he actually started putting on weight.
Yeah.
I mean, some people just don't understand basic calories. So if you're confused, a gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories. A gram of protein is 4 calories. A gram of fat is 9 calories. So all your food is made up of those three components to varying degrees.
Right.
It's not difficult to work out the amount in a sweet potato, for instance. There's great apps like Calorie King. There's a few of them, I think. Right. Like you put anything in and it'll tell you the calorie amount and the macronutrients.
Yes.
I remember, and you probably do as well. We used to have before we even had phones. Yeah, it would have been. I dieted the first time successfully in '96, and we had a Spirex book like this, Spirex book, and it was a bit thick like that, and it was Australian Food Guide or something like that. And you looked up a food, and you get a ruler, and you look across, and you could see the macronutrients.
Yes.
Did you have one of them? No.
I had books. Yes,
Right.
I did have.
And of course, only the basic, like natural, foods would be in there. But that's how we looked up stuff.
That's
It
right.
wasn't internet or iPhone.
That's right.
But that's what we did, and it
So
still works.
we got to know that we could have, for example, a 200 gram piece of chicken breast, which would work out there's like 25 grams of protein per 100 grams, something like that, 23 maybe.
More, I think.
25, let's say 25 grams of protein per 100 grams, so you got 50 grams of protein, so maybe not 200 grams, maybe 180, whatever was the appropriate amount. You'd work out the same for your carbs, and you'd calculate your calories per meal, and then calculate your calories for the day. That's right. And you would, do you remember there was a formula too for calories in versus calories out, so calories expended.
I can't remember.
I can't remember it either. But then you would work out exactly how many calories you were allowed to eat for the day in order to have a calorie deficit.
Yes.
And start dropping fat.
Yeah.
Body fat. Yeah. Anyway.
But again, you don't have to you get a trainer to do this for you.
Yeah.
And just stick to it. It really is that simple. As Kevin said last time, it's not rocket science.
But it is science. It is science.
Thank you, Kev.
It's a simple equation. Right. So what were you on there? You were on do's and don'ts. So there's a few more don'ts.
Alcohol.
Alcohol and cigarettes and other drugs.
Yeah, it's never works, does it?
No. No. So basically, you might have heard people say empty calories. Well, alcohol has calories, but there's no nutritional benefit in there whatsoever.
There's no win. You're better off eating Maccas, to be honest.
Right, because at least you get
some protein.
Right.
If you're going to just go on a bender, it's just going to make you fatter. And again, people really, it's another one that they really neglect to put the focus on cutting back on alcohol to get in shape. When I used to drink, I would go out and I would just buy vodka on ice and sip that because it's something I couldn't drink fast. and it would have it. It's not that it's got particularly low calories, but because you're only using a small amount of it, you don't drink much. That's what would you do? Did you drink much when you went out back in your clubbing days?
No, I drank when I was
you weren't able to drink
17 to about 21.
All right, when you weren't training. Yeah, I when I was dieting, I used to drink a lot of Pepsi Max and caffeine and Coke Zero and stuff like that, which isn't great for your teeth. You know, the jury's out. Some people think it gives you cancer. Some people, I think, completely incorrectly believe that it lifts your insulin levels and makes you fat. There's no sugar in it. There's no reason why it would do that. I get, though, that it's a trigger sometimes if someone has something sweet to then go and eat more stuff.
You didn't find that it would satisfy your sweet craving?
Yes.
It would satisfy.
Yeah, absolutely. If I had Pepsi Max, it would kill it. And I think because of the phenylalanine in it, it's a bit of an appetite suppressant. But, you know, not great for your teeth. Probably gives you some sort of disease later in life. Maybe that's why my hair fell out. So now, as we discussed last time, I drink it through a straw if I'm going to have it.
That's right. That's right.
Anything else?
Yeah, look, there's plenty of benefits to starting up training. Did we cover that? We talked about that.
Yeah. Look, and again for women as well. Can I just touch on this as well? I train my women exactly as I train my men. Like this rubbish about women should try to tone their muscles, and it still happens. I see it all the time. These girls doing inane cable glute extensions and the bands, dude. The bands are everywhere. There's people literally have bands wrapped around their entire bodies, doing little sidestep. Squatty things, and what the fuck, really? The girls I train, most of them look awesome, and shout out to Rania and some other girls. Do you see those? Do you see the pictures of her at Boy Charlton? Good on her. She's fucking squats and deadlifts like a boss.
Yeah,
that's what she does. Right. Eats right, does cardio,
and it gives a woman curves,
curvy feminine physique. Doesn't want to get on stage, but it's a sustainable way to look all year round.
She does train hard.
And you know, more power to her. But
and full range
of movement, good technique, progressively getting stronger.
Getting sexier is a big benefit of what training.
Yeah, look at us.
40s and 50s. One of these days we're going to do the when the shirt comes off podcast.
Not for a long time.
Speaking of shirt,
what have you got
today?
On
I've got on my INBA t-shirt. Now,
okay.
I'm a good, strong supporter of the INBA. In fact, I was the vice president of the New South Wales INBA for some time.
Why did you get voted out?
Yeah, no.
There was a Lewinsky situation.
A Monica Lewinsky. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, no. I had to relinquish my position, and now I am a judge for INBA. Yeah, I've judged in some of their comps for a couple of years, so I support the INBA. I'm a strong supporter of the ANB, the other natural federation.
Jen, shout out to Jen Ora.
Shout out to Jen, president of that federation. I've competed with the ANB about 10 times.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're fantastic. And Robbie, who used to be the president, he was a good man.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
He was, as in.
Well, he is still, but he's no longer president.
Okay.
But I had a 9.6. 2003 to 9-year gap between competitions.
Yeah, me too.
And I went back to the competition in 2012, and I was queuing up to register on the morning of the comp, and the president, who I hadn't seen for 9 years, came up to me and he said, "Welcome home, Kev."
Oh, isn't that nice?
It was very nice. Not welcome back, but welcome home.
That's awesome.
It was really
nice
cool.
Story.
No, it was very nice. I was quite touched, actually, at the time.
That's really cool.
And then I got second.
Story. Yeah, you didn't win?
No, I didn't win.
My 10-year comeback, I won.
Yeah, well.
Mine was the 2014 Mr. Bankstown.
Mr. Black.
No, Mr. Bankstown. Well, it was in Bankstown. It was IFBB Sydney. No, NABBA Sydney. And the main reason I did it was because I wanted Bianca to see me on stage.
Right.
She'd never seen me compete. And it was 10 years. It was 2004 was the one prior to that. And I won, and I could hear Bianca going, "Go, Daddy!" from the audience, and I could see it. And Yeah, that was pretty cool. Do you think you're going to do what? Would there be
My
more?
boys came to that competition I did in 2012,
Okay.
but they were only like 4
Right.
and 2 or something, so
Okay.
they wouldn't remember it, unfortunately. And they probably didn't even recognise me either when
Yeah.
I was all covered in that brown muck.
Would you do another one?
Never say never.
I agree. Yeah, same here.
Not on my short list of priorities at the moment. But never
me
say
neither.
never.
No.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a few shows on at the moment. There's some natural shows on this weekend, I think.
Oh really? Oh yeah. Well, it's the second season, isn't it?
It's so called the
Season
B
B.
Season B. There's all
Right.
these new terms. There's
Yeah. You know what I don't like?
I know what you're going to say.
Really?
Improvement season.
No, peak week.
Peak
Peak
week. Peak week is up there, but also improvement season.
What the hell
Off
is that?
season.
Off season.
When you get fat,
Oh my god.
bulking. Actually, on that, do you dirty bulk or clean bulk or no bulk?
In an ideal world, Steve, I would do a clean bulk, but
It's hard to sustain.
it's hard to sustain, and I have the temptation of eating chocolate and stuff. It's too great. But one year back in 2002, I bulked for some months, 5, 6 months or whatever, and I was eating 8 times a day.
Clean.
No,
Oh,
I was trying to. I'd never been 100 kilos,
right.
and so I was just bulking for a few months. I think it might have been 4 months before my diet began.
Right.
And I was in the low 90s, and it was creeping up. And then one day the scale read 97 point something, and I was like, "That's really close to 100. I wouldn't mind seeing the scale go to 100 one time." Right. So I added in. This is when it got dirty. The bulk got dirty, and I would, after all my meals of the day, I would go and order a pizza and eat a thing of ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
each night afterwards, and that added another 800,000 calories or something to my daily intake, and I got to 102 kilos, which is pretty fat. And then the hard thing was that I had 16 weeks to lose 16 kilos and get back down to about 86, which I did do, but I vowed at the time that I would never do that again because it was so hard, so difficult, and so unhealthy.
It is unhealthy, and but I used to get very heavy in the improvement season.
I've seen some of your improvement photos.
It wasn't particularly pretty, but man, I got strong, and I
That's right. Even if it's not muscle, even if there's a percentage of fat, I do believe there's a correlation between your weight and the weight you can lift. The heavier you are,
within reason.
At 100 kilos, I could lift more off the floor.
Sure.
I couldn't do as many chin-ups. But I can deadlift heavier.
Yeah, same with me. My squats because I used to get to 110, and I was strong. But it was the rest of life was hard. Doing my laces, I used to get gaps to do my laces up.
Just walking up a hill was hard.
I wouldn't walk up hills.
No, right.
But yeah, especially for someone who's an ectomorph, I think if you're an extreme ectomorph, which I certainly am, I think that's necessary to in your 20s to really put the weight on. You're not and I say this to some clients.
You've got to eat. You've got to eat. That's right.
Some clients that eternally want to have a six pack. It's great, but you're going to have a teenage boy's body when you're 40 if you don't at some stage focus wholly on putting mass.
Because as we age,
our
muscle shrinks.
Yeah.
Right. So if you've got skinny legs and you never train them and are still skinny, there's going to be nothing left. You're going to be one of those old men with stick legs and a big round belly.
Yeah.
Whereas if you train your legs and build them as huge as possible, like I've tried to do, and you tried to do, that as we get into our 40s and 50s,
they'll just be normal legs.
They'll look decent.
Yeah,
that's right.
Completely. But not only that, I think this goes for lagging body parts as well. If you've got a lagging body part, and regardless of how you structure your training to improve it, you have to be in a calorie surplus to improve it. These people, I get people coming to me all the time that they're, say, 16 weeks out from their show and they say, I'm train with you to bring my legs up. You're already going to be going into a calorie deficit. It's too late. You come and see me the year before, put your calories up and, fix the technique. Just on a side note, most people's weak body parts, don't grow, not from frequency of training, but bad technique. Would you agree? What most people's default is, though, I don't want to fix my technique, I'm just going to train that body part more often.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is training a body part badly more often. We see it all the time.
Yes.
I mean, my arms,
Yes,
I always
sir.
struggle with my arms, right? And I got Charlie Duca to fix my technique with my arm training, and my arms started growing.
Right.
They're messed up now because I did weird things to them. Now they're all lumpy. I'll show you my lumpy arm.
Oh, do you have to?
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
See, feel that.
No, I don't want to feel it.
That's my little mini.
I don't want to feel your lump.
There you go. So there's not much muscle there anymore. It's all sort of scar tissue. But fix your technique, or get someone to fix your technique. Put your ego away, drop the weight, fix your technique, then
Work on.
bring it up. Plus add more calories. The muscle can't come from
Nowhere.
magic.
That's right. So you think it's impossible to gain muscle while getting leaner?
I think it's hard if you're doing it naturally.
It is hard.
It definitely can do it when you're if you're supplementing. Absolutely.
It is possible to do though. You can improve you
Sure.
can get your scans and have more muscle.
Sure. And even if you don't, you can look. I mean, because we're not getting up on the Olympia. We're talking kilos either way. For most people, if they dropped a little bit of muscle in the process but got down to like single digit body fat, they're going to look better for it anyway. So many guys, again, big mistake is oh no, I can't cut my calories because I want to lose size. You know, what would you rather look like, a fat football player or like an Adonis, a ripped Adonis, but be 10 kilos lighter?
Yes, people. Yeah, you forget. You yourself forget that when you get leaner, it's an illusion of size.
And as
you look better.
Of course you do.
And people think you've gained weight when
That's
you've
right.
actually dropped.
Yeah.
I would get that all the time
Yeah.
when I was dieting.
As Mick Shanti would say, you know, when the shirt comes off, the bullshit stops. Why are you laughing?
Well, that's right. Yes, but people, we've gone off track a bit there. People are hung up on the weight.
Yes. The weight of what? Their bellies or their training?
Sorry, the calories they don't want to drop weight because they think they'll lose size.
Exactly.
Whereas dropping a little bit of size with its body fat will
Yeah.
make you look 10 times better.
Even if you lose a little bit of muscle along the way. You know, you don't want to lose a leg or something.
No, it's pretty hard to avoid dropping a bit of muscle
That's fine.
as you're dieting.
That's fine.
right. Okay, a couple of questions, Steve.
Okay.
Phones while training, is that allowed?
Fuck no, man. What the fuck?
Okay, what about not on your phone, but what about music?
Yeah, look, I struggle with this because I, as you like to listen to some gangster rap when I train. However, I find myself, I don't answer calls or messages, but I do find myself just fucking with it, like changing music, and I do that a little bit too much than I'd like to. Just picking a side.
You're not scrolling through Facebook or anything.
Never.
During a workout.
Never.
So
never.
I think if you've got cordless headphones and you are listening to your music, which is your phone's just near you, and you change the song every now and then,
yeah,
that's all right.
take a couple of selfies.
Other than that, no phones. A couple of selfies. That's what I'm talking about.
No, absolutely not. I'm amazed by young guys as well. We talked about this before. That will start doing the camera, like the selfie power in between bicep curls, for instance. These are guys like, can you imagine doing that in your 20s when like getting out the Kodak disposable phone?
Oh, and taking
take a
photos of yourself. What a
pouncing.
wanker!
You'd get slapped.
What a
You'd get
wanker
slapped.
that would be. A wanker move. Imagine being out at a bar in the 90s, early 90s, and taking your phone out and going...
Of just yourself.
Yeah, of yourself. Like, it's a fuckwit thing to do. I don't know how... When I first heard of a selfie, I thought it was a joke.
Not
But
a
now
joke.
they even use selfies for advertising. There's people holding their phones in the photos.
How is your selfie game, Kev?
Not that good. I like mirror selfies.
Yeah.
But holding the phone like that? Nah, not... Oh, you know. I've done a few on holiday.
Done a few. Done
Yeah.
quite a few. Just look at my Instagram, Steve Machine Color.
Do you like your selfies in the bathroom with the toilet showing in the background?
Yeah, preferably with some dirty undies on the floor.
Yeah.
No, look, not a fan.
Is music essential for your workout?
Oh man, look, most times if I'm getting ready for a heavy squat like the death set, I need my boy Eminem riding with me.
Yes.
On,
Yes. I'm more of a DMX
DMX is
motivator.
cool as well.
Shake after training essential?
Not essential, but I do it, and I think people are struggling with eating, especially if you're skinny, getting the calories in. Whether or not you believe in that sort of window after you train, just a matter of getting some calories in is valid.
What about changing the subject here back to our training in your 40s and 50s? If you've got young kids and you're a couple and you want to train at the gym, what about tips for parents? Like, would you recommend one at a time and then the other?
Well, a lot of gyms in the suburbs, they're lucky enough to have creches.
Oh, they have creches too. That's right.
And you know, God love Billy Jr. and the boys at City Gym. They've really relaxed their policy. I don't know if you remember the Big Four.
Yes, there were no children allowed to set foot in.
I remember I had Bianca in a car capsule. It was pouring outside, and I wanted to bring her in just to wait for someone in the sitting
foyer
area
of the gym.
In the foyer, and a little manager who will remain nameless, but spent a lot of time dressing as I'm a lady from fucking Little Britain. Told me I couldn't come in to the premises because I had a child with me.
Yeah, so thank God those days are gone.
Yeah.
Now we can, if we have to come in and bring our kid, they can sit in the waiting area and hang out with their iPhone while we or their iPad while we train.
Can I just say, how good is the gym now? Like, does the vibe?
City Gym, City Gym, Sydney, Crown Street, East Sydney, right near William Street.
Yeah.
Is great.
It's pumping.
It is pumping. There's new equipment.
Yeah. New people.
New owners.
Yeah.
It's
good staff.
Yeah. You should get your ass to the gym.
And it's only going to get better. There's exciting news ahead, which is going to blow your minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that boxing gym that's going? Boxing ring that's going?
Yeah, with the Marrickville Mauler, Jeff Fennick.
He's going to be
boxing
there.
Yeah.
Right.
How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. So if you're into boxing,
2 or 3 rounds with Jeff.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
And to finish, Steve, what is if you were only allowed to ever do one exercise ever
I think
at the gym?
I think you know what that is. Given that squat rack is called the Steve machine, the squat rack.
So yours would be squats.
Yeah, look,
exercise.
I have.
It's City Gym's own Tom Platz.
Tom Platz is my idol. It's just not only his the way he trained, but his outlook, and he was just. He's so passionate about training, and when I would really train heavy, I'd go. This is my process. I would lose yourself on M&M and headphones. I'd walk into the waiting area and touch the photo of Tom Platz.
Seriously.
And then walk and then run to the squat rack.
Did you see the interview of him when he was in Sydney for the Olympia in 1970?
Seminar?
There's an interview. I think it was a Pumping Iron 2.
Okay. No.
Documentary. That
I
came
did.
out.
Well, yeah, he was posing backstage.
Yeah, he was competing.
Yeah.
And they interview him down at Bondi Beach, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
And he
I might see that.
Thought he had a good chance, but Arnold came and surprised him.
Mike Spencer should have won, I think.
Yeah, there's controversy. I had a friend who went to see Mike Mentzner in Venice before he died. Like, he contacted him online to go and hang out with him and chat with him.
Yeah.
And he went back to Mike Mentzner's place.
Oh, wow.
And Mike Mentzner pulled out the 1980 Olympia and put it on and complained about
Talk about need to let something go, man.
Yeah, it was like 35 years later. 25 years later.
Your favourite exercise?
My favourite exercise, if I was only allowed to do one.
Let me guess. Standing glute cable kickbacks.
Yeah, while doing a overhead tricep extension at the same time.
Yeah, and followed closely by banded hip thrusts.
Naked banded hip thrusts. Naked banded hip thrust Turkish get-ups.
Yes.
No, deadlifts. Would have to be. I would have to pick deadlift. The completeness of how your body gets trained.
Yeah. That
would be the exercise I choose, and I would be just gradually creeping up 1-2 kilos each week and try and get to that back to the 200 kilo mark.
Yeah. I wasn't going to mention any numbers because I'm embarrassed about mine at the moment.
That's all right, as long as you're deadlifting. Steve.
Exactly. On that note, this is a squishy. I've been informed by my daughter that you shouldn't sniff them or especially not eat them because they can be poisonous. So if you've got squishies at home, kids, don't inhale. Anything more to add, Kev?
Just like Bill Clinton. Didn't inhale, right?
No, that was... Yeah,
it was Clinton.
Yeah.
Clinton's been in the news a few times.
As opposed to Monica Lewinsky.
who did inhale. On that note...
We
out.
We out, bitches.
All right, later.